Welcome to Tom's Tech Show. I'm Tom, and today we're talking about managing a VMware lab with some homegrown software. Welcome to Tom's Tech Show. Today we're going over something that I call Lab Manager. I had a challenge given to me to create something that would allow testing people, engineering people in the company to be able to connect to a system, use it however they want, and when they were done with it, they could just check it back in, throw it away, and the next person that used it would have a clean, would revert back to a clean state. So VMware did have years ago something called the Lab Manager that allowed a very intricate way of testing software and releasing software, having salespeople check out different versions of software for demo. We didn't need something quite that elaborate. So I created something that I think works kind of for us. So let's kind of get in and we'll show you what the challenges were that I was tasked with for setting up this Lab Manager. So one of the things was users need a clean system every time. So I go to the computer, log in, it should be completely clean. Nothing, a base setup. We have some base tools that we'll install in the base image, but then every time you log into it, you're going to have those exact tools and everything in that exact place. Users may need to use multiple systems at once. We deal with software right now that's based in a call center. So we need to be able to make calls, transfer calls, put calls on hold, do conference calling, things like that. So you need more than one system. We need the ability to request a set of systems that another person is using. It used to be we have very limited resources, so we wouldn't know who would have the system checked out or who was using the system, so you'd have to call everybody and find out who was using it, what the last state was, what they were trying to do, and just was a pain and kind of a time waster. So now you can just easily see who's using it and request access to that system. It needs to be web managed, so I don't have to go to any elaborate console or anything to try and get to a system. I just need to be able to log into a web page, see what systems I need, click checkout, and have it run and give me the system. It needs to have Active Directory integration, so it makes it easier to manage users. When users come in, they need access to the Lab Manager. You just add them to the Active Directory group. When they leave the company, you disable their user, disables their access. Needs to automatically manage Windows updates. Some of these systems and how the Lab Manager works, they're off most of the time. So this is saving on resources. I mean, if I can't have 120 computers on one server running at the same time, because we don't have that many developers that would need them all to be up. So if we set it up so that they're off, then it's saving resources. But if they're off, they're not contacting Microsoft or anywhere to get Windows updates. So I have a system that turns them on, runs Windows updates, and then turns them back off. Okay. So I made kind of a chart that I'm going to go through here on how the intricacies, kind of the plumbing of how the Lab Manager works. First, we're going to start over here on this right side, the virtual machines. These are what users are connecting to. We've done them in groups of 3. You can do it in 2. You can do, more. You can just have 1. These are all managed by Virtual Center. And since we have Virtual Center, they're all being controlled from PowerShell. VMware has a plugin that allows me to manipulate the virtual machines and do basically anything that I could from the VMware Web Management Console. I can do that from within PowerShell. So from within PowerShell, I need to know a few things. I need to know what the state of the box is, when's the last time it had Windows updates, when's the last person that checked it out, is it checked out, all those kind of details. So I connect PowerShell to MySQL. So I save all that data into a MySQL server, which makes it easy on the other side for the users to have an Apache PHP server running the web front end. So this Apache PHP can easily manipulate and update MySQL, which then can control the PowerShell controller. Next to that, I have a Mercury mail server. The Mercury mail server allows me to send the notification emails when people need to check out a system and it's already in use by someone. They can send them a notification using the Mercury mail server. And PHP also has Active Directory plugin modules that I can use to get user logins and do the security for the system. So then the users on the other end log into the web page through PHP, which then when they update or click a button, whatever they need to do, go to a web page, go to a group of servers, they can see what they have checked out. All the details they need is being pulled, data is being pulled from MySQL. They need to check in something out. Then that tells the PowerShell controller how to orchestrate and do the acrobatics within Virtual Center. So let's jump over here to the lab manager that's actually running. I'm gonna log in real quick. If I can type. Okay. Now I've logged in. Now I see there's a few menu items over here. We have our user list, our server list. There's a whole ton of servers. There's many pages of servers here. So these are just the individual systems, and we group those into different pods, into a pod here. So if I click Lab Pods, here I can see these are all different pods. So I have a set of Cisco servers here that are set up in our system for validation. Someone has this one here checked out. I can click the request button and say, hey, I need to use these. It'll send them an email. They can go in, check it in, and then the next user will be able to use it. So let's just, if I click checkout on one of these, it immediately dumps me into what I call in here on the menu called My Pods. So the My Pods are the ones that I have checked out. So if you can see, if I go to Lab Pods, there's quite a few here. There's 2 pages of them that are set up. But if I want to know just what I have checked out, then I can go to My Pods. And right now it's in start mode because this is the part where I've told the MySQL database these systems need to start. The PowerShell controller goes, hey, these need to start, and is now telling VMware to go start up those systems. And if you see here, there's this little black dot here down at the bottom of this page, and every once in a while it'll change a little bit. So it's a dot, and then it's going to move around, and these server links to the remote desktop server links here automatically showed up. I didn't have to refresh the page or anything like that. There's a jQuery section of this page that's going on in the background that's automatically refreshing the page, that block inside the page, so that you don't have to try and refresh, and you can see the links right away. So if I click it, it's going to load, ask me to log in, and I can go log into the server and perform whatever functions I need. And I know that every single time I do that, I'm going to have the same server. I'm going to have the same software. I'm going to have the same base configuration that I need to do my configuration and testing and whatever I need to do. Then when I'm done, all I have to do is click check in, and it goes to a shutdown mode, and then all the systems are checked in, cleaned up, it's reverted back to the original state, and the next person that comes along can check them out and know that they're completely clean. So those are the basics of the Lab Manager. Eventually I'm going to take and be breaking the code down a little bit. It's going to be up in Bitbucket. You can get to it at my website, tomstechshow.com. I did finally take this whole piece eventually and connect it to AWS. So now the Lab Manager is now a cloud manager and controls all my AWS resources. So that's also coming in future episodes. So thanks for watching this overview of the Lab Manager, and as always, God bless.